Fords are on the front row of the grid. Cranbrook on your left, Elsgood on the right, green flag at the back. Oh, who knows what could happen.
I think that means we're set to go.
It's a long hold for the start of race 3. Now we get running. Second row of the grid, Ryle Harris. Look at the jump he makes. He's squeezing across, though.
Oh, look at this.
Excuse me, Grant Johnson.
That is aggressive stuff off the start. Look, he had the momentum, but at what cost?
Oh, 3 wide through turn 1.
Oh, this is tight.
Jack Elsgood, late under brakes at turn 2. Look at Gary Baxter, sneaking down the inside on Ryle Harris.
Well played by Baxter. The biggest break of the whole track that was at 3 wide at the front row. It was tense stuff.
Cranbrook leads, Elsgood, Baxter, Ryle Harris under the gun now from Grant Johnson. Then it's Kurt Wimmer and Kim Jane, Glenn McNally, Steve Robinson. They're all in the mix for this final race.
Tricky part of the track when you're on cold tyres. You don't actually have the pressure up. You don't have warmth in the carcass of the tyre, and you're floating what is rather heavy car through a very medium high-speed section, trying to ask more than the car really has to give when you have a lot of hardware around you.
This is the braking zone, turn 11, and Grant Johnson lining up Ryle Harris.
Big brake attack.
He's got to be aggrieved from that start. He got pushed right out.
Yeah, I would say that was a little cruel. He was forced into the fence and forced to relinquish.
Andrew Fisher loses a spot to Brad Patton, who's had a pretty solid weekend, actually. Reckons his car is the best it's ever been set up this weekend, but he's just been set up by Jennings, who in turn gets in the back of Craig Dontis. And now he's got to sit and wait and watch. Be patient, let them all pass. Last thing you want to hear.
Worst position to be held too is right on the inside, blind, can't see the oncoming cars, just has to wait, and that has to hurt.
Steve Robinson down the inside on Charlie Kovacs. And Leighton Cranbrook sneaking away with the race lead. This was the guy in Adelaide who I honestly thought he's out of championship contention. He cannot defend number 1. Let's have a look on the Yokohama replay. Ryle Harris just moves, keeps moving. Nearly drove Grant in the fence.
It didn't lift, grabbed the front quarter panel of Grant Johnson. Could have turned him hard left into the wall, but stayed into it.
This is on board, out the back. This is from the dog view with Andrew Fisher. Oh, Andy Kiss. I love your work.
Great jump.
Oh, who gives into turn 1?
Oh. That was close.
That was good.
That seems to happen every race here. Charlie Kovacs being passed out into turn 1, a late braking manoeuvre.
See, all the cars banked up on the inside, so going the long way was great. That's not. Ben Cabbage gets unloaded by the looks of things. Who was involved? Oh, Peter Burnett down the inside. Small touch, right rear, goodbye.
It was an active first lap, wasn't it?
Yeah, this is the replay of Scott Jennings just getting into the back of Craig Dontis.
Yeah, late lunch, already going up the inside of another competitor, just didn't have the room to stop and unfortunately took him out.
This is in car with Scott. No. That was a little bit Wingcup Perkins, wasn't it?
Very similar.
Interesting. Cranbrook leads, Elsgood, Baxter, Harris. Look at Grant Johnson's trying to get him back for that lap one incident.
Right on the back of him there in the final turn. If you get a good run out of here, it's such a long straight. It really is the only straight here at this circuit. So the last corner, so crucial for top speed and lap time.
Here's Glenn McNally, the Western Australian, pulling out of the slipstream on Kim Jane and going round the outside at turn 1. He's trying to get across and cover turn 2.
He's left it open.
Still there.
Yeah, Kimbo's awake to it. He's a wise competitor and a great late breaker. He always has been.
Just hasn't quite had that overall speed this weekend.
Or the gear he liked. He's missed that too.
I think he missed a gate there. And Robinson will snag a spot at turn 3, but he just hasn't had that absolute pace that we saw last year where he was always in the top few.
And look how one simple mistake can just put you way back in the field. Oh, they're arguing for that space.
Charlie Kovacs.
That's not pretty.
Got rid of a side skirt, saving on weight.
Look, Jane would have been hurting from the fact that he missed a gear. He's lost 3 spots as a result of just that one little error, and there's the aggro as the result. Charlie doesn't take too kindly to that either, so it's probably not finished.
Long way to go in this one. Lap 3 of 11 in race 3.
He just put his hand out the window to try and readjust the broken mirror. It's ambitious. Running a little wide now. He's obviously feeling the pitch, maybe not on the best amount of rubber left from the weekend. It's quite hard on the back left tyre around here because there's so much tight right-hand turns.
The fight for 9th and 10th between the two Commodore pilots. Yokohama replay. Oh, and good at turn 5. That was right on the edge. Nandy Kiss and Scott Jennings down at turn 2.
Oh, that's late.
Nandy keeps off the tyre wall. Gets going again. I can hear tyre smoke. That's why. Peter Burnett is around down at turn 2. He's in some dramas.
Been such a fantastic weekend. You have to take your hat off to the category for putting on such a great show in a brand new location.
Pacemaker in car with Rob Jarvis. That sounds tough.
They are. They're Aussie. They are awesome. Plenty of panel damage. You can see the opening laps of a ute category always tends to cause some concertina effects, and you can see the back of them punched in, which pushes the gills out in the rear. Doesn't make them very aerodynamic down the long straight, though. They tend to lose a couple of K an hour in a straight line when that happens.
Cranbrook leads. Ellsgood second. Baxter third. Grant Johnson is up to 4th.
Jeez, he's got a good lead, doesn't he, Leighton Cranbrook? Like he said at the start of the season, you weren't too sure at the opening round whether this was going to be his championship, but hasn't he laid the authority down from that point on? Just flawless driving. Didn't take pole, but gee, he's looked sensational in every race.
DBA in car with Craig Donnis. He's waiting for a new Craigstead engine for the next round of the championship. He's got Warren Millett somewhere on the outside. There he is. He's playing it defensive, and the Wake Up Commodore is circling in. They're way down the field, fighting for 25th.
Yeah, it's a long way down, is it? Sometimes the greatest races of your life are down the back of the field as you're coming back through, but really, at the end of the day, they're all for nothing. They're not a huge points haul. No one's seeing you. But you just got to put your head down and grin and bear it.
He's been a regular top 10 runner in the Ute Series in the last few years. Heaps of experience in production cars, all sorts of categories. But when it's not your day, it doesn't matter who you are and what you've done, it's not your day.
But sometimes to take the best attack on a championship, it's not how you go when the going's good, but it's how you recover when the times are tough. And that has made many a champion. It's the blokes who recover better than the rest, because you are going to have a bad one, there's no doubt about it. That's how you come back from it.
That gives us a great chance to see the cockpit of the V8 Ute. This is Andrew Fisher fighting back in this race after being a retirement in race 2. Has got the backing this weekend of Compassion Australia, who are really highlighting children in poverty right around the world.
It's just such a fantastically unique sponsorship. Andrew does a great job. I went to a wedding the other day in a church, and there was a picture of Andrew's race car on the wall of the church, and I just think that's cool. He spends a lot of time with kids, visiting a lot of schools, spreading the message of motorsport and the great man himself.
That'd be a very good bridal car, I reckon. You would be turning up to the wedding in that.
You wouldn't be arriving late, would you? You just might not have all the panels on it.
Yokohama replay at turn 13. Paul Williams up the inside on Ben Dunn, who became a father again recently, and is back in the car and dishing it out.
Sensational.
Another replay, Nandy Kiss giving one of his surnames to Greg Willis. What?
Such a big stop in a ute. Not a lot of tyre, a lot of weight, and you're coming from a very high speed down just to a walking speed corner. So it's a lot of inertia you're trying to arrest.
There's Glenn McNally, Steve Robinson, Kovacs and Jane. This fight is still going.
Look at them, they're hard at it, aren't they? And that's what we like to see. Race 3 is usually the equaliser for all the incidents that have happened earlier on in the weekend.
I just noticed too, there was a yellow flag in the background at turn 2 because of Peter Burnett's car stopped on the inside of the turn. So that takes away a potential passing chance.
Yeah, it does. And you can see Kim Jane there making the most of the exit of turn 3, letting it all hang out over the curb.
Check out the doors. They're both dinged.
They're tired, they're bruised, they're battered, they're sore, but they're not finished.
Lap 7 of 11, the former NASCAR champ, runner-up in the Ute Series last year to Leighton Cranbrook, will actually line up for his 150th race next time the Utes are on track down at Sandown in Melbourne.
That's impressive.
That's pretty good. The man in front, Charlie Kovacs, he racked up 200 last year.
Oh, and you know what? He's really hustling the back now of Charlie. Aggressive under brakes.
And at this late stage, not just the race, but the weekend, the brakes have got to be feeling it. Steve Hodges, turn 11. A tough couple of rounds for George, but things have just started to turn around. Has had 2 good finishes, 20th and 20th.
No, that was never on that move.
The minute that I said something good, something bad was going to happen.
This bloke has the worst luck in the world. Of course, another former NASCAR champ, and now look at him, nose in the wall.
That's a flat coffee.
That's a brave man who tries to stick a car down the inside of that turn. It's really just one corner. It's just a sweeping succession and no room to do it. So I think the officials are going to have a look at that and ask some serious questions.
Charlie Kovacs and Kim Chain still continuing their fight. McNally down the inside on Kurt Wimmer. I'm not saying anything good about anyone from here on in. I'm just going to say bad stuff and see if it works the other way.
You're the Murray Walker kiss of death.
Do my eyes deceive me? No, they don't. McNally's covering down at turn 3 with 3 laps to go.
The brakes hurt right here. This is the part where you've got to be careful that you don't start braking too late later in the race, because that corner, after you've had one massive stop the corner before, there really isn't a lot left, so you can't ask too much. Otherwise, you'll start to perhaps lock rears or run wide or hit the wall.
Yokohama replay. George Elliott pretty much on the racing line. Giannis thought, oh, there's a gap there, and it disappeared.
Yeah, asking for more room than there actually was, and
just, I think, maybe kissed the concrete, but nothing too nasty. Could have been a lot worse.
Yes, well, his day's already over, so the news probably couldn't get too much worse.
Kim Jane now trying to squeeze down the inside on Steve Robinson, and he'll get there.
He's obviously had a very good run out of the previous corner. You can hear them locking up. They've got about the same weight of a V8 supercar, but they've got about half the rubber, half the footprint of a V8 supercar, so that's what makes them tricky.
Robinson back down the inside. Kim Jane was slow there. And Charlie Kovacs is ready to line up and get through. But Kim might hang on here because he'll be on the inside for the next one. And he does. It might be the penultimate lap, but these boys are not in get home and finish mode. They're in get home, but still race home mode.
Yeah, you can see it starting to get nice and tenacious at the moment. The closing stages, it never stops till the flag drops in this category. That's the one thing that we've learned over the many, many years of racing and being involved. You don't stop till the fat ladies are humming.
Steve Robinson's got a pretty straight car from this weekend, and he's now in the gap on Kim Jane, who was a little bit wide on the apex at turn 11, the SSN car with the championship leader. If he stays where he is, he'll still be the championship leader, but not by much.
But look at him, he's refusing to let him go, closing aggressively under brakes. He's showing some fantastic late race pace, but just on the final lap, is he going to have what it takes?
Cranbrook sits second in the points coming into this weekend. He was just 11 down on Jack, and if they finish where they are, he'll have eaten into the margin, but not quite taken the championship lead. So, if you're Jack Ellsgood in car 11, do you do a desperate? Do you launch it in somewhere, or do you just settle for what you've got?
You can see now he's using plenty of space. He's grabbing 1 inches of tarmac. He's left. He locks up as he has a lunge at Cranbrook. What can he make? He has to get a good run out of this turn late to protect himself to the flag.
I don't reckon Jack's close enough here.
He's trying, though. He's throwing everything.
He won't give up, but this is turn 11. He's gone so deep there.
Points for trying, mate. Well done. You're a street fighter.
He was never going to make it, but still, why not? You never know. Put the pressure on.
You don't know what mistake that Leighton's capable of making under pressure, and I think that's the strategy, maybe the only strategy he had.
You know what he's capable of as well? Winning. Leighton Cranbrook takes race 3. That's his 4th race win of the season. and it's enough to clinch him his second round win in 2009.
And what is this going to do to the championship? That's going to put them within about only a couple of points between Jack and Leighton, so it is on.
In the maths here, I reckon it might be 5 points, but I might give him those 5 points for the slide. Cranbrook wins from Elsgood, Baxter, Johnson and Harris in the top 5. Charlie Kovacs and Kim Jane. That was a great fight right throughout the course of that one. Steve Robinson rounding out the top 10. Brad Patton has had a great weekend. Well done, Brad. Andrew Fisher in 12th.
So too Ben Cabbage. Let's not forget 11 cars he passed in that race. So stunning performance for the SS Inductions hard charger.
Noel Edge in 20th from Greg Willis. George Elliott unlucky. But this man wasn't luck. It was all speed, and he's going to celebrate in style.
Yes, tops in Townsville, and he wasn't fazed by the Master Intimidator behind him.